Hi, welcome to the stream. Couldn't hear the music there, so I wasn't sure when I was supposed to start talking because OBS has decided to be rude to me again, like it always does. So yeah, hi. A little bit to get everything set up. I hadn't gotten the very legitimate game Nintendo 64 set up on the new computer yet, and I don't want to start up Mario and Luigi again because, as the title suggests, I want to change things up a bit, like my layout and stuff. It's not the best layout, and I want to like change it to make it slightly better and fit the new computer better. But yeah, so we're just gonna play, I guess a couple of rounds of Mario Party 3, because when I played Mario Party 1 that took like an hour, so we might just play 2 rounds of 3. So yeah, let's get into it. And everything, okay, there we go, it just works, Turns out it just works. Oh my god, why is everything not working today? That's great. Okay, that's great. Real great, okay. Yep, okay. Well, I can't fix that. I just can't fix that. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it's fine. Anywho, so we're playing Mario Party 3. So here's the story of this game. I never had this game growing up. It was only on in the center of the vast universe, a remarkably bright star was born. Hang on, we got story. It was a star that was born only once in 1,000 years, the Millennium Star. According to legend, whoever possessed this mythical star was destined to become the superstar of the universe. However, since the Millennium Star was but a newborn, it fell from the starry sky. Around that time, Mario and his friends were all happily relaxing. When suddenly the Millennium Star came crashing down. Hang on. Volume's not great. Change that up a bit. Up even more. No, that's good. That's fine. Wait, no, now it's too loud. Oh my god, I'm bad at this. Mario and friends soon began arguing over who should keep the Millennium Star. Seeing this, Lakitu came flying and dangling a toy box from his rod. Mario Party, that's right. They could play Mario Party to see who the biggest superstar was. Suddenly, the Millennium Star gave off a brilliantly bright flash of light. It was that bright flash Mario and his friends were transported inside the toy box. Greetings, I am the Millennium Star. You must pass my test to prove yourself worthy of possessing me. Follow me. I only have one, like, pompous guy voice. Pompous British guy voice. Get one. Only get one. Mario Party 3! Yeah, welcome. Welcome to Mario Party 3. So, I didn't have this game growing up as a kid. We only had... I think this is the same font they use in, the title screen for, Paper Mario? We only had, Mario Party 1 and 2, because 2 was on Virtual Console, and 1 we had the actual original game for. I don't know why my brother had Mario Party 1, actually. He did. So we never got Mario Party 3, because it wasn't on Virtual Console or anything. But, however, story mode, let's go to the party mode, baby. On the Millennium Star, use the control stick to select. Use your destination, then press A. Battle Royale, minigame, and duel. Battle Royale. No thank you, I know the rules. Alright, let's go. So it wasn't until I went off to college was when I started playing both VRChat, which I've gotten back into recently, and Mario Party online with people. This was one of the games I was introduced to online. I didn't play this game at all, originally, just because everybody was like, oh, Mario Party 3 and Mario Party 6 is the best. I had neither of those growing up, so I was just like, alright, sure. Welcome! Oh, right, today I don't have Snapple with me. I actually had Snapple Apple yesterday, but I figured the drink I do have is red. It's cranberry cocktail. I don't really like it that much, it's too bitter for me, but apparently my mom bought it for my dad, but he didn't drink it, so I just kind of took it. But now we just have this, but I do get Snapple Apple pretty much every week, so it'll probably pop up again at some point. Yeah, it's bitter. Like, I'm fine with cranberry sauce, like at Thanksgiving and stuff, but like, just having it reminds me kind of, I don't like bitter stuff. I just don't. Anyways, video games. Video games, dude. Hang on. I have like a, there we go. There we go. Alright, I think we're good now. Welcome! This star lift goes to the Battle Royale maps. Why does it say Battle Royale and not Battle Royale? I'm Tumble. From here on out, I'll be your guide. Okay, it's time to set up the game. How many will play this time? Just a me. Just a me. Mario. Oh, thank God, we have them unlocked already. Okay, so I usually either go Daisy or Waluigi, but I think I only played this game maybe once or twice with the NetPlay community. They're on Princess Peach's grounds, I see. And I think one of those times I played it was on Waluigi Island. I have played that before. I don't really want to try that again. But let's go with Daisy this time around. Good choice. Wait, the good choices came from this game? Good choice came from this game! Oh my god, I never knew! I had Mario Party 5, and when you select them, they would say good choice. I didn't know it came from this game. I thought it just came from Mario Party 5. Okay, let's pick our good choice. Good choice. Good choice. Oh, that one's different. Good choice. Yeah, that one's different. Yeah, all the others are the same as... No, I don't want Donkey Kong! Don't stop that! I don't want Donkey Kong! What's Yoshi sound like? Yeah, baby, that's the classic. Alright. Yeah, he's a bit too deep. He was made a bit higher in Mario Party 5. Alright, how will you set the computer character levels? Let's do individually. Let's make Waluigi hard, Peach normal. Alright, let's make Waluigi easy. I love Waluigi, but god dang. Peach normal and Mario hard. We'll use a handicap? Handicap. I could be rude and use a handicap, but let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's no handicaps. Pick the board map you want to play. So we got Chilly Waters. I think I played that one as well, and I'm trying to remember which ones I played. I didn't play this one. I think I played this one? No, I know I played this one. I definitely know I played this one. This one's coming to the Superstars. Mario Party Superstars. I think I'm gonna play Mario Party 2 as well before that comes out. Because, you know, all the boards are from 1, 2, and 3. So, you know, get a taste of what's to come once that game comes out, I am definitely buying that game. There's no doubt about that. I am buying that game. And I'm going to play that game on Steam as well. But for now, Woody Woods, Creepy Cavern. I don't think I played this one. Oh no, Waluigi Island, you have to unlock that in the story mode, I guess. Alright, let's see. I think we'll go with Creepy Cavern. I don't really know much about it. Number of turns. This is the first game that you could, customize your turn number, besides 20, 35, and 50. But I know that in Mario Party 2, it was only 20, 35, and 50, as well as Mario Party 1. So we're just gonna go with 20. That's the standard. That's per the rules. Everybody just goes 30. Why am I guessing like clipping so much? I have to change my settings at some point after stream. I'll play any mini games, easy mini games. Okay, that's it. Of course I want bonus stars, you dingus. These are okay settings. Okay! He almost sounds like Toad. Almost. Not quite. Yeah, hello, welcome to the stream. I forgot to mention hi. Hi, welcome to the stream. Creepy Cavern. Oh. I know how to stream. Alright. All here, welcome to the legendary Creepy Cavern. In this fantastic rocky cavern, you'll battle to become the superstar. Now, before we begin, we need to determine the torn order. The tone order! Hey man, we gotta decide the tone order! First is Daisy, yay! Second is Peach. Then Waluigi. Oh my god. It literally is just the same goddamn clips from Mario Party 5, except for Wario. It's very deep for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. Finally a present for everyone. I'll give you 10 coins each. Don't waste them. Good luck and try to become the superstar. Start the game.
Okay, let me show you where to find the first star.
There he is.
Uh-oh, the star ended up here. Trading 20 coins to get it. If you can ever get there.
Why do you have a sad face? What's that about? Oh, I remember hearing this song before. I like it. God dang it. Oh, we're off to a great start. Oops, this is embarrassing. I can't believe she got the bonus their first turn. And now there's money in the bank. Yeah, what games had the banks? This game, 2, 4 had the bank? I don't remember if 4 had the bank or not. I think it did? 5 definitely did not. I think they stopped using it at that point. Oh wait, no, they had it as a capsule. They didn't have it as an actual thing or anything. Just a capsule. I always forget the difference between thwomps and womps. Like which one's the ones that float and which one's the ones that have arms and legs. Oh, okay, that's how it's going? Alright. And Wario just got Waluigi's 5 coins, alright, cool. Waterworld. I don't think I played this one? I don't know the mini games in this game as very well. Oh no, I have played this one. Okay. Jump aboard a motorboat and race. The first to finish 5 laps wins. Steer and accelerate. If you go too fast, you won't corner well. Watch your speed. Okay. Oh, that's very cute. Look at their little boat heads. Oh, right. I remember this because I hate the controls. Oh, I hate this. It's tank controls. I hate this. It's real good. Why did they think this was a good idea? Oh my god. I guess it just makes it that much harder, but my god. Oh. Oh, here I come. Here I come. Oh. I just noticed the black bars on the sides of the screen. I didn't... Okay, but that was Wario. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. That was Wario. I'm not going to delete those black bars. Nope. Nope. It's 11 at night. We're not doing that today. Not doing that today, folks. Oh, Luigi space. Alright. Time to give away what's left of my money. I got some back. So the star is... Oh wait, you need like some kind of key or something? Oh, item game. Do I remember this one? Oh yeah, we gotta watch her play it. Yeah, I do. I remember like all the ones from this game because they're all like unique and stuff. But I remember the Mario Party 2 ones more vividly because I played that one more often. I'm gonna say this a lot. I haven't played this game that much. Didn't have it growing up. Didn't play it a lot. What is that shadow? Why is that shadow there? Is that a glitch? That's a glitch. Oh boy. Oh right, the like item question thing. That's such a weird like mechanic. There's a lot of item spaces on here as well, it's the thing. Oh! Okay, that's a womp. The womps are the ones that fall down. Womps are the ones with hands. Womps are the ones that fall down. Good to know. MPI... Oh, this game! Oh, this game! Whenever I played this game on NetPlay, like, they would always just, like, hit the button, like, immediately. And, like, be like, oh, based off of these answers, like, this is the thing, because everybody else has already played, like, Mario Party 3 so many times before me, and already knew all the answers. So, that sucked. And I could never win this game. Yeah, hit your button. You hit the block quickly for your chance to answer the question. The first player that reaches 3 points wins. If you hit the block in the middle of the question, you won't see the entire question. That's the part that really threw me off, and I hated it. Let's do it! I actually kinda want this one to come back in the Superstars. Who collects coins at the start of a battle minigame? I don't know. I don't remember. It's Goomba, okay. How many people can play on a battle royal map? It's 4. Up. Up. How many coins does it take to have Boo steal coins from another player? I think it's 5. In some games it's 0, but in most games it's 5. What is the highest number you can get on a dice block? Oh. 3? I guess that was like a special dice block? I don't know which dice block that was, but it was 3 was the highest number in the choices, so I was assuming they meant like a regular dice block, and I was gonna say 10. The random numbers while they're switching around is very interesting as well. I kind of like that. It's kind of funny. Like 259, 876. Let us view the map. So we can't get that way. We need some kind of special thing for that. I think we need like a key. Otherwise we have to go up and... Oh. How do we get there? Oh, I guess we get there by the swamp? We get there by the swamp. That's interesting. They're playing Mario Party on their on there, over there. That's cute. Let's just go up and play the item minigame, I guess. I'm not gonna do very good at this. Bobbing balloons. This one they showed off in Superstars as well, so I'm excited to see this come back. Time your arrow to shoot down an item. Okay, so we got... I don't know what genie lamp that is. That's, Koopa Kid phone, the poison mushroom, and the stealing chest, I believe. Watch how the balloon moves and then release your arrow carefully. I think I move as well? Yeah. Alright. Oh boy. Okay. So I gotta hit one of those question mark spaces in order to get to the other side. So Waluigi might get it before me. Granted, he has 0 coins now. He has literally no coins whatsoever. But he could potentially still get it. You never know. Wait, why did the screen get smaller? Is the screen getting smaller? What the heck? Oh, no, it's just really small during the map for some reason. That's weird. That's very weird. Gambling. My mom went gambling today. Told me she got 9 cents. That's something. Okay, Koopa Kid. Hey, Koopa Kid. Uh-huh. Speaking of other things my mom did. My mom and dad got the Ancestry DNA test or whatever done. They really wanted to get... Oh my god, it's the gambling guy. Game guy. Mini game. Alright, this one's a weird one. It's a 1-player minigame. I think it changes. But this is also gambling. This is very much so gambling. Place your bet, then make your guess. On this one, you have 2 chain jumps that are going to eat cake, and you guess which one is going to eat cake the fastest. It's entirely RNG, pretty much. But yeah, they got their Ancestry DNA tests. As it turns out, my dad is very white. He's very European. That was not surprising. And my mom is, more like half African, I guess? And then the rest is like various European and American and sort of all kinds of other stuff in there. That was interesting to know. So, you know, I have a lot of European in my background, which makes sense because I'm considerably paler than my mother. Slots Finch. Pair up to hit character blocks. Try to hit the same character as your partner did. Careful, if you get Baby Bowser, you'll lose 1 point. Cool. But yeah, that's kind of fun to know. God dang it! Thank you, sweetheart. Doing great. God dang it. Stop! Oh, thank God. And Waluigi's on easy mode. Alright. Now I have enough to get the star, however, we don't have a way to get over there yet. Fortunately. 8. Alright, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, fine. Oh, Baby Bowser's house, huh? I can get the skeleton key, that's fine. Get the skeleton key. Don't believe they brought that back after this game, either. Like, I'm trying to remember all the differences between all the Mario parties, because there are many Mario parties, and I played... Okay. Let me count. 1, 2... Well, I've owned, like... I've owned real copies? Not real. I've owned more legit, more in line with what Nintendo wants copies of, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, DS, Advance, I didn't really play that one as much, but I have it, 9, 10, Island Tour, Top 100, and Super. I think that's all? I think that's all of them. That's 12. That's 12 different Mario Party games after, I think, like 18? I think 18 or so. Yeah, I played the majority of them, but it feels like I haven't. Because, like, I played them more often. Like, I've technically played all of them at this point, but I played some of them more often than others because I have easier ways of accessing them. Get on a bouncing ball, then knock their rivals off the playing field. Move, jump, attack. A plus C. A plus C. Okay, cool. Got it. Yeah, I remember this one. This was in, Top 100, I believe. And I think it starts, like, getting rid of the blocks after a while! God dang it! Here you, Peach. Burp. Yeah, yeah, the games that everybody else likes, all the games that everybody else likes, 3, this one, and 6, I never had growing up, so, like, whenever I play them, I feel like it's, like, why does everybody think that these are the best games ever, you know? Okay, we got 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's, which is the Womp. The Womp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'll lose some money. That's okay. Lose a bit of money. This leads to the star. And Waluigi still doesn't have enough points for that. Okay. Oh boy. I had work today, and as per usual, it was mostly uneventful. I have now officially seen the musical Sweeney Todd 3 times, and only twice to the end. I kinda like it. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood. And they did that by, like, making some kind of weird, not like Kool-Aid, but it looks like Kool-Aid type of mix. It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's actually quite, probably as red as this, cranberry cocktail I'm having. Still don't like the taste of it. Ugh. That does nothing. Good job, Wario. You've done nothing. You've accomplished nothing. Yeah, I guess the main reason I haven't been streaming as much lately is because I'm still trying to figure out how to, set up things for the new computer, as well as I'm doing a lot of stuff on VR chat that I probably shouldn't be doing, honestly. Oh, this game! I remember this one. Press the buttons the prompts tell you to win. Tell you to, good timing, to move your sled forward. A, B, and Z. Okay, I get Z. I just have to press Z. While you presses B, Peach presses A. If you press the wrong button, the prompts will get confused and pause. Be careful not to make mistakes. Luckily, I just have to pay attention when it's my turn. Or else pay attention to all of them. Okay. Yeah, I've been like messing around with trying to make avatar for VR chat because I think I mentioned this last stream. I've been watching a guy. Yeah, I did mention this last stream. I mentioned the whole how I found him story. Oh, you're kidding me. I got scared. Screw you, Wario. Why is this voice so deep in this game? Ugh. See, I wanted to try, like, casually role-playing in VR chat. I wanted to try that out, but I wanted to make a model of my character that you see on screen, but like I couldn't make it entirely the same, but it was closer to like my concept art. I'll probably post like a picture of it like in action at some point because I don't think. Thank you, Skeleton Key. I appreciate your service. Yes! First star is mine.
I got it!
I think I'm one of those people that don't like Daisy's original voice in comparison to her modern voice. Thereafter is over here, so we have to go back that way. Well. Alright. But yeah, trying to make a model for. Oh ho ho! Ain't you sneaky? What did I just do? What did I just do? Oh my god. Oh my god. What just happened? I can't see anything. I can't see anything. Why can't I see anything? You all can't see anything either, is the thing? Shoot. Okay, hang on. Let me do this. And then reset. God dang it. Okay. Nope. Alright. Ignore that. Ignore it. Ignore it. Where are the graphics? Where are the graphics? Where are the graphics? The graphics. Okay. We're going to reopen this. Because they are no longer there. I have no idea what happened. Yes, I'm... Shut up, shut up. Shh. Tell nobody. Try this once more appealing. Okay, shall we? Alright. Stop. Okay! Okay, it's working, maybe? It's working, maybe. Don't tell nobody. Okay, there we go! Yay! Alright, we're good. Oh my god. I have no clue what happened there. Sorry about that. Or the magic lamp remove the curses. You can't stop him. Here's the genie. This is in the second game as well. If I remember right. And I believe he came back once more in 4, and then he was never seen again. But they've had like similar items afterwards, like in Super Mario Party. The star pipe? Star pipe? Yeah, and they had the star pipe in DS as well, actually. Up. Yeah, Wario. You smart fool. Smart doublish man, you. Oh, that's where you want to put it, huh? Okay. Cool, cool. That's gonna suck. And he got a 10. Yeah, as much as I would like to stream VR chat, the computer I bought cannot do that. It can run VR chat in VR, but it cannot stream it, and I refuse to try to do so. Oh, okay. It's a 3-on-1 relay. What are my controls? What are my controls? What? 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 Why do I get the most complicated controls? Up plus A, down plus A, up plus B, down plus B. Up plus A, down plus A, up plus B, down plus B. Alright, let's try this. Why are my controls the stupidest? Okay, so it is in fact just a relay race. The Peach is going first. That's me. I gotta concentrate on this. Okay. Oh, I suck at this. Come on. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, he's not gonna win. I messed it up for everybody. Oh, that was really complicated. That was really complicated, y'all. That was dumb. Or at least Wario doesn't get more coins to buy more stars. He has enough to get another star anyways, so it doesn't really matter, but still. Hello, yawning. Alright. Great! We're definitely not gonna win this. I don't even know, like, what turn we're on, dude. Alright, Peach got the magic answer. Oh god, she's got the dual glove. Got 2 introduced item minigames and dual minigames, but they're specific to each board. 3 introduced item minigames and dual minigames that were not specific to each board and can be used on every board. Which then followed through for the rest of the series, besides the item minigames, which they didn't really bring back. Did they bring it back in 4? I don't know a lot about what happens in 4. God bless you, Womp. You know, when are we getting battle minigame? Unless that's a Goomba one. That's the Goomba space. Oh shoot, Mario's Puzzle Party! This one was on the DS game, so I know how to do this. It's a pretty simple puzzle game. In all honesty, it's kinda like the blocks are similar to like Puyo Puyo. But the mechanics of it are a bit different. Break blocks by connecting 2 or more of the same color. Thwomp will occasionally fall and squash blocks for you. Rotate the blocks with A and B, move the cursor, and drop the blocks with C. Garbage blocks will break when the colored blocks touching them are broken. Yeah, sorta, you know, those kind of things, like Tetris and Puyo Puyo. Not really Bejeweled. Bejeweled's kind of different. Ah, god dang it. Nice. God bless me. Idiot, 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 imbecile, imbecile, imbecile. No! God dang it. I'm losing. I'm losing. No, Warrior's winning. I'm noticing the score now. Oh, this sucks. God dang it! "101. And this is why I shouldn't have put Wario on hard mode. Ugh. At least he's not over where the things are. That's good. What do we got? What do we got? Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, yeah, I should probably go this way. You want to ride my minecart? If so, let's see your coins. No, thank you. I'm going to land on the space anyways. Alright. So, I won't have enough to get it this first pathway through, but second way I should be able to get it. Who are you dueling exactly? Yeah, not true. Red cranberry, thank God. I drank it all. Shouldn't have. Popgun pickoff. I think I remember this one. Oh no, I don't. Or at least I don't remember it as well as the other ones, maybe? I do kind of like the aesthetic of this, of like the entire game in general. Is like, it's very much so, like, you know, pop-up book style. That's kind of neat. So, while they're doing this, as well as like thinking about changing my layout, I want to use, I've mentioned this last stream, I want to use my V-Roid model. Heck yeah, Peach. You go, girl. I want to use my V-Roid model, more. I want to use it because I think I'll be able to use it. So, I'm gonna be changing my layout, but also, like changing the model I use. It's gonna be interesting. If I had a poison lash, you might move. Wonder who's gonna land on the bank space next. Ah. Stupid kid. You brush your teeth with every meal? I guess those are kind of random, huh? And warp blocks. Cool. That's helpful. I mean, it is, but just 3 of them is not gonna be much help. Bridget. I think I remember one. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I believe this was in top 100 as well, or something like it, maybe. Pretty sure it's in top 100. Use blocks to fix the broken path. First player to carry 3 blocks and fix the path wins. Path is frozen, so it's slippery. Don't panic. Exercise caution and control. It might have been something else that I was thinking of, but maybe I played this before? Okay. Gotta be careful. Whoops. Alright, well. I guess we all saw that coming, huh? He's gonna get the minigame star too. Oh boy! Not winning this one for sure. I had better luck with the Mario Party 1 game. But it's probably because I had them all in the same thingamadoo. God damn my coins. On the same difficulty. But here we are. Well. It sure did nothing. I'm still the- wait. Wait. Is the star not on this side? Oh, no you don't. Oh, no you don't. Oh my god. Oh, that was close. He's gonna keep using that until he gets over to me, isn't he? Oh, that sucks. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. No! Shoot! Peach can get it beforehand. Potentially. I don't know where the star- wait, the star's right there. I see it. See the star. Oh, you're doing the thing again. You're doing the funny thing again? Alright, let's save. Gotta close it again. Gotta close the goddamn thing again because it did- I don't know what's happening. This did not happen with Mario Party 1. Don't know what's going on here. So weird. Alright, load state. There we go. Oh, this one! Messy Memory! Yeah, this one is coming into Superstar as well. I kinda like these kinds. My memory's not very good, but this is a fun one. Toads knock the items on the shelves to the floor. Try to return all the items in their proper spots. Okay, grab and place an item. Open curtain, close curtain. Okay. So, oh, you can open and close it so that other people can't see it, but they're computers, so it doesn't matter. Remember where the items were originally placed on the shelves. If you get less than 3 points, you automatically lose. Ay ay ay! Okay. I think I got it. I think I got most of it. That one goes over here, this one goes over here. This went over here, this one goes over here, this one goes here. I think that I maybe got it slightly wrong, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Yo! Yo! Yeah! 100%, baby! Let's go. Memory's better than I thought. Or at least short-term memory. It's a lot easier for me to like visualize stuff than it is to like remember like numbers and stuff, like those types of patterns, like visual patterns. Like I remember a lot of my memories I remember based off of like the colors of the rooms that they're in. Like I can barely distinctly remember my old choir room in middle school because the walls were like an olive green. God. Shoot, that's the wrong one. Wrong button. You know what? You know what? I think it's time for us to have a little battle. I think it's time for us to have a battle, buddies. Alright, let's do this. Please don't make it 20. Oh, thank God. Okay. We got 4 coins in the pot. Let's go. Alright. May the best person win. All fired up. One. Oh, the potaboos. The potaboos. Lava bubbles are coming to get you. Do your best to avoid getting hit by lava bubble. Up, jump, will make circles, crosses, and other formations to chase you down, baby. Yeah, like I can distinctly remember more stuff based on like the colors of the rooms they're in, colors that they are, rather than anything else. Yeah, do not touch the lava bowls. They're called lava bowls and they're called lava bubbles in Paper Mario, but they're called potaboos, I think, everywhere else. So I'm an idiot. Backfires spectacularly on me. And Waluigi's the one that wins. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Cool. I don't get any extra because there's only 40 coins. There was an uneven number. So we're back down to 5. And Peaches got a star. Thank Christ, because Wario was getting really close to getting that star. I'm the best! Waluigi's now the only one without a star. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Still on this side. Well, you sure does have a lot of coins right now. Oh, you can get the Bowser suit in this game as well. I don't remember what that does. I do not remember. Remember there was a Bowser suit in Mario Party 8 that I believe was only accessible via the Bowser board, as well as like a bullet bill one that was only accessible on the Bowser board. But the Bowser board was special in Mario Party 8 because everybody started out with 5 stars. Rink Risk. I believe I remember this one. Yeah, I remember this one. I think this was in top 100. I could be wrong though. I have to go back and check. Yeah, Mario Party 8 Bowser board, you start out with 5 stars each. You'd have to steal stars from everybody else. You didn't gain stars. You only, like, you couldn't buy a star in the traditional sense. You have to take it from everybody else. I should really like just get one of those leap motion things. I keep moving my hands around while I'm talking. Anyways, try to avoid being hit by the spiked Koopa shell that slides around the frozen playing field. The more the Koopa shell moves, the faster it bounces, so watch out. The last remaining player wins the coins! Do this. I'm gonna lose again. This is just a fact at this point. Oh, there's more! You didn't mention that there was going to be more! You didn't mention that fact! God dang it! Are you? Are you really? Up. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get all those things up sometime next week, so I'm probably gonna be skipping the Tuesday stream in order to get all that set up still. Do I want to buy another thing? One of those two are gonna get this. Or is gonna get the star, it doesn't matter. Let's get the skeleton key, it's always good to have. Just in case I need to head over there in a timely manner. Let's go this way. Screw it, let's go this way. Doesn't matter. It'll just set me back like 2 spaces anyways, if the thing comes around. Yeah, I thought so. You already have items. Genghis. Dingus. Genghis Kong. I don't know what I'm saying. Why me? Why not Wario, maybe? I have done nothing wrong. Why are you using the warp block? You're literally right there. You're gonna get Waluigi. Oh my god, you idiot. You imbecile, you absolute fool. What is wrong with you? So dumb. The computer's so dumb. We're already at an hour in. Which means we're probably getting close to the end, actually. Cheap Chase! Okay, I remember this one. This one wasn't in top 100, but I remember seeing it before. I think it's coming to Superstars. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about a lot of things. Swim like mad to avoid the hungry Cheap. Dive to avoid the bombs in the water. A B or C to dive. A repeatedly to swim. Exclamation point will appear over your head just before the Cheap is going to catch you. Repeatedly press A to swim away. Button mashing time, baby. Let's do it. Okay, no control stick, just button mashing. Well, great. I button mashed A. Screw you. I'm good at button mashing. Yeah, it's entirely possible to just, like, lose this game. For it to become a draw. Thanks, Wario. You know what I want to see? I want to see Waluigi in a mainline game. I don't think Toadette's been in the mainline game either, actually. Here it comes! Here it comes! That's fine. Oh! That actually sends us forward, I didn't realize. Still fine. Neither of us had the coins to get it anyways. Whatever. Luigi does! We're gonna get an item. That's interesting. Actually, let's check. Oh no, we're a little over halfway. Okay. That's good. Up. Why do you have 2 boo repellents? What the she? Oh my god, it was just coins. Oh my god. That scared me half to death. I was so worried it was going to be a star. Oh my god. Awful tower. What's so awful about the tower? Oh, this game. It's similar to that Vine minigame from Mario Party 5, except this one I think is a bit harder. Jump from block to block to climb the tower. The fastest climber wins. Open jump, the hammer both pull throw, hammers at you, block your way. Use good timing to pass by them. I will try. Wait, actually, what's this? Oh, this. I think this was actually in. This was actually in top. God bless me. I think this was actually in top 100. And this is why they call it Awful Tower. Okay. Yeah? I don't think you even have to make it to the top, you just have to like get as far as you can. I'm the very easy computer. I'm the worst at this game. God dang it. Yeah. Oh, he's definitely gonna... Wario's definitely gonna win, not Waluigi. What you got for me today, boy? Oh. Waluigi ain't getting that star. What is wrong with you? Why do you keep doing these things? And why does the music just like get really distorted at that part? That's weird. Curtain call. Oh, I think I remember this one. This one looks very weird on this version. Textures don't work right. Koopa, Goomba, and Boo are dancing. Remember who appeared and in what order. That's gonna be a little bit hard, but we can try. Select character, confirm selection, cancel select. Koopa and friends may try to fool you, so pay attention. Any player who correctly answers 3 questions gets coins. Yay. Koopa, Boo, Goomba, Koopa, Boom, Goomba. Koopa, Boo, Goomba. Good person from the right. See what I mean by the textures are kind of weird. Textures are kind of funky. Sorry, Peach. And now Peach can't play anymore. He's dancing instead. Goomba, Koopa, Boo Boo. EKGBB. EKGBB. EKBBB. Who was first and third? Alright. G. Yeah, Wario? DKBKB. Okay, GBKB KG. GBKB. Person from the left. I'm gonna say it. Goomba. Oh my god! Oh my god. He's in crackers. There are Goombas on both sides. I was thinking, like 6 person on the left, not 6 person from the left. Crackers. That was scary. Still in 3rd place, though. Time to lose some money. Wait, oh, that's... somebody... Did Peach step on that? I guess Peach stepped on that. Oh wait, no, Waluigi must step on that. That's how he got all those coins. Not really much I can do here. Just limits my options. For 5. Oh no. Oh, I could. Oh, I really wanna actually. We're going to invite all kinds of chaos. We're doing battles, we're doing chance time, we're doing all kinds of things, baby. Chance time! Alright. Welcome to the Chance Time minigame. Lucky event could very well change the outcome of the game. Let's start the Chance Time minigame. Have the dice box to decide what will happen to which players. Let's see who will give something away. Wario, baby. Who will receive today's prize? God dang it. Alright. What's today's prize? Let's see. 20 coins. The results are in. Wario gives 20 coins to Peach. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's the economy. Oh. Was kind of hoping for something for myself, but you know, whatever. It's fine, it's fine, it's cool, it's fine, it's fine. One. Good. Was it? 13. Comes! I don't think he's going to get to the star right away, but get close. And she'll lose coins while she's at it. Alright. Oh goodness, it's midnight and I'm out here just playing some goddamn Mario Party, huh? Ah, the sharks one. I remember this one. Because it's very dumb, and you can easily land in the water. And then Waluigi died in the shark-infested waters. Or he got the warp block, alright. Wario time! Another item thing, huh? Are you picky either? Four player anyways. Cool. Coastal Titan. Okay, this one was in Top 100, but they changed it because when they brought it back, they had Mega Mushrooms, so that's the thing. Read the blocks by the mushroom to beat your idols by chasing into them. Jump and attack, and just move after attacking. After getting the mushroom. They gotta figure out which one has the mushroom in it. You're kidding me. Wario, no! God damn it, Wario! I hate this game. Never go backwards when you're going somewhere. You have to keep going forward, or else they're gonna catch you. That's just a rule in life. Met the past 5 turns yet? Nope. Okay. Oh boy! I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. No, I can figure it out. Let's go Goomba, I guess. I'm not gonna win. I kinda now officially have places I'd like to be soon. I got places I wanna go, things I wanna do. And now we're gambling. I don't like gambling. Not a fan. Bomba? Bomba. I hate this place. It just drags you there. You can't stop it from dragging you there. You are forced to gamble. You have no choice in the matter. Where are you going, Waluigi? Oh! My lucky day, ain't it? Ah, it was all for nothing, you fool! One. Alright, girls versus boys, apparently. Princesses versus plumbers. Princess and the plumber. Picking panic. What is this? Oh! I think I remember this. Grab the cherries from Woody, then pass them to your partner. Put in the basket. Grab, release. Distance the cherries by the plant on their size. Try to match your timing to their size. Interesting. That's something. Okay, so I'm the one putting them in the basket. God dang it. Peach, you're really bad at this. I don't know better at, like, catching them. But, like, he's really bad at aiming them. I kinda like that one. That one's kinda neat. That's a neat minigame. When did Woody first appear? Like Mario Party 2? That was like his debut. I wonder why. Nice! Okay, we're at the last 5 turns. And Toad, now let's check the stackings. Mario's first. Peach is second. Daisy is third. And Waluigi is in last place. Who will be our winner today? Let's find out with very special predictions. There's none other than... I'm the Millennium Star. Tried and true prediction is Daisy. I'm correct 9 times out of 10. Well, thank you for having your confidence in me. Reward present of 10 coins! Just 10 coins, huh? Now for the last gasp. The last 5 turns. Now in blue space and red space, we work 6 coins each. And if 2 people land on the same place, a duel will ensue. Ensue! Do not let these chances pass you by. Good luck! And with that, the last 5 turns begin. God bless America. Alright. What is happening? Face off in a duel. No, let's go for 5. I got nothing to lose. 15's fine. Alright, what do we got? Foul play! This is... Chase down and catch the runaway chicken. You can jump over the fence too. I've never seen this one before. This is interesting. Chicken is quick, so it's easy to lose sight of it. You may be able to find it by following the footprints. Jump and catch. Cool. That was easy. What an interesting minigame. I guess I should have bet all my coins at this point. Oh well. Gain a net total of 4, baby! Yeah, of course she's not going to go to the Bowser space. 64. That's another nice number. And now he has it as well. Finally. Alright, Warrior, what are you doing this time? He's warping. Good job! Really did it. Ooh, that was amazing. You're gonna buy another blue repellent, aren't you? Nope. You decided not to buy anything. Because those items suck, apparently. Yeah, I'm not gonna win this. I'm not gonna win this game. That sucks. But then again, I don't know Mario Party 3 that well, so I guess that makes sense. Oh, that counts! That counts as a... Okay. I had to watch him... Why did he... 19? Why that number? That's such a weird number. End of the line. I put the steamer and pick the right tunnel. Pick the wrong tunnel, you fly up a cliff. Okay. RNG the game. So you can both lose in this minigame, huh? The cut between is so weird. Oh, that's the train from the second game. From the Western Land in the second game. Yeah, he's getting the minigame star for sure. Oh, I don't want him to win, but I also want coins. Puddle paddle. Okay, it doesn't matter, this is a coin minigame. What do we got? Climb aboard a two-person raft and collect the coins from by the Hammer Bros. Here, repeatedly paddle. If you don't work together, your raft will flounder. Just like in like okay. Like in Little Mermaid. Flounder. I'm mostly controlling this, actually. Alright. Not bad. Not bad. I got 20 total now. But of course, that means that Wario has over 100. So I've screwed myself over. Even more. But I wanted the coins. I want the coins. Alright. Take a look at that board. Where is it? All the way over there! Oh. Hello. What do you got? Magic lamp. I'm not gonna get 20 coins. Not gonna happen. One, two, three, four, five. That's where he goes, but this one. Let's just lose the 5 coins. We'll gain a total of 1, it's fine. I miscalculated. I don't have 20 coins! There you go, Chomp. Oh, I remember this one. Oh my god, I remember this one. I don't think this is in top 100. But I do remember this one. Below the spinning pillar, the chain chomp awaits you. Try your luck. Pick a color to avoid the chain chomp. No one else's color will stop in front of the chain chomp. Choose one that feels lucky. Yeah, this is the obligatory battle mini game that is also a luck-based minigame. Have fun. Not. Let me take a look at Pop. Mario. I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. This is supposed to be a fun little romp. This is supposed to be just a fun time today. Instead of this been nothing but torture. I should have played Mario Party 2 instead. Let me check. Checking the wiki on Mario Party Top 100 now. Yeah, they called the Toadstool Titan, they called that the Mush Pit. Okay, Rink Risk was in, that game. Please. God damn it! Was in, Top 100. That game was not, but I remember that one specifically because it's a luck-based one. In a way, I find luck-based minigames to be really funny, but mostly when I'm not losing. Oh, I don't think I've actually seen anybody pass by the blue yet. That's interesting. But yeah, here's where the blue repellent comes in handy. Saved by the bell. Yeah, one of the other ones that was there was The Beat Goes On, which I liked a lot. That was another memory-based minigame. Oh, Title Toss was also in it. It's also here on the list. And I do remember this one. I do remember this one for sure. Jump to avoid the waves caused by the player in the boat. Ground pound or hip drop. Move and jump. The size of the wave depends on the height of the ground pound. Just jumping will also cause a wave. Ow. Sir? Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I did it. That was really close. It feels like it takes longer than Mario Party 1 did. Interesting. Well, I guess there's a lot more in between minigames. Not as many in Mario Party 1. Alright, we're doing another chance time, baby! Screw you, we're doing another chance time. Wario, you're going to give something to somebody. I don't know who, but you're gonna give something to somebody. Why are the textures so weird? Oh, we're deciding the price first. God dang it! I was trying to get the star. Luigi. Oh, thank God. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Somebody caught me on the counter. It wasn't me. I knew that song from like from elementary school, and I really shouldn't have known that song because it's all about I think it's called adultery when you cheat on someone. Adultery, in which a guy repeatedly like has sex with the neighbor while his girlfriend is out, and then she comes home and he's just like having sex everywhere. Oh my god, Peach got another star! Good for her! Good for her! Luigi's really doing badly. Gotta say. Here's the next star. Oh, great. Keep singing things lately. But then again, I've been watching musicals the past couple of weeks, so... Well, more than a couple of weeks, like past month. Had 2 musicals at the theater I work at, so I sort of watched them, at least somewhat. Two mushrooms, huh? What is wrong with you? What in God's name is wrong with you, Wario? Alright. Let's decide your fate. Ba, 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 ba. Well, your brother it is. You give me 30 coins. And there goes all his money. Oh! I'm in second place now. Well then. Granted, he's still gonna get the minigame star, but still! That's at least slightly better. Right now. And Lion Sinker. Do I remember this one? Name sounds familiar. No. Reel in the three who have all become. Oh, that's actually kind of cute. If all get caught, single player wins. Aim, adjust distance, cast magic hand. Adjust direction, swim forward. Move the magic hand a little after you cast it. A little. I really want to get back. Oh, this is very cute. Look at all of them. And Waluigi's color was since been black. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god, keep moving. 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 God dang it. Well, you said I gotta like put out. I want to put out my songs and covers and such. I want to do that. That's one of my big goals in life is to be successful in music. You know. I wanna be creative, do creative things, make creative music and such. You know. Bye, Skeleton Key. I can't do that without putting myself out there and actually like doing it. I have the tools. I have the tools. I got the microphone. I got the other stuff. It's just a matter of another battle minigame, huh? It's just a matter of like putting myself out there, taking the time to actually do it, and just doing it. You know. I'm sorry? Alright. Well, this one decides a lot. Storm Chasers! Okay, I remember this one. I definitely remember this one. Because it is, in top 100. Hold the pot under the rain cloud. Under the rain cloud? Why did I say it like that? To water your piranha plant. The more you water it, the more it'll grow. Rain cloud is blowing to and fro. Chase it down. Your piranha plant will flash slightly when it's getting water. Alright, here we go. Let's do the best we can, dude. We're not gonna win. Okay, let's see. Third place ain't bad, but you know, not great. All things considering. Considering we all just lost the majority of the coins. There you go. Alright, Peach. I don't... Okay. Yeah, I think there's a coin star and a minigame star. It might not be. It might just be happening minigame and red. Well, Luigi finally got a star! Good for him. Good for him. Taking the initiative. Getting that star. I'm in 4th place now. Game sucks. Oh, baby. A triple. Well, that's only gonna be a 2nd star. It doesn't matter. What are you doing? You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. It's literally 2 spaces away. You don't need to do that. Nice. And a 2 to put right in between. That's called a foursome. That was really bad. I'm sorry. I don't usually make those types of jokes like on stream. I've been watching like this het white guys a lot, so it's just like they make a lot of sex jokes, you know? They make a lot of sex jokes. And sometimes they're funny. Sometimes. Sometimes they're not. And sometimes they can be slightly offensive. But in the slightly offensive way like Cards Against Humanity can be, you know? I mean, granted, I think that game, like, the people behind it are actually, like, not very good people. I think that was what was found out, or something like that. Bye-bye! You wasted that key. Used it for nothing. Bye-bye. Really? You're gonna do this again, huh? Coconut Conch. Oh, I remember this one! I don't think it was in top 100. Was it in top 100? Let me check the list. I remember this one, but I don't think this is in top 100. No, it was not. But I do remember it. Use a ground pound to hit the player in the barrel with coconuts. Ground pound A plus C. Once it's moving, it's hard to stop the barrel. Move carefully and don't panic. Alright, here we go. Start! Give me, sir. Give me, sir. Gotcha! What's going on with Wario's eyes? What's going on with his eyes there? Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's real weird. I have coins again! I'm still in last place, so... Portrait still looks like that. This is the last turn. This is the last turn. Okay. Let's make this count. You know what? Third time's the charm, baby! Let's go! No, thank you. Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm. This is the fourth battle mega game. The third one I've initiated. 30 coins! Nobody has that besides Peach. 63. That's 7 times 7? 7 times 9. Let's do it! Bup, 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 bup. 3-Door Monty! Okay, that was one of the ones in... Press the button. The gate. Character. Toad, Boo, and Koopa will enter the castle. Remember which door each one enters, then be the quickest to answer. A. Select door. B. Select door. C. Use the wrong door, you're out. Hurry, but don't panic. Okay. Alright. It's called 3-Door Monty as a reference to Monty Hall. Koopa, Boo, Toad. Waluigi? Waluigi! There you go. Good Christ almighty, Waluigi. Fast reaction times. 10 out of 10. 54. Nice. That's a lot of coins. Granted, I can't do anything with them, but that's a lot of coins. Nice. Yeah, it's a reference to the Monty Hall, problem, which is also a, well, no, I guess rather than Monty Hall show. I think that's what it's called. A game show, which are 3 doors, and, 2 of them had, oh. Alright, can't do anything because he doesn't have any coins. They can't do it with stars? I didn't realize you couldn't do it with stars in this game. That's interesting. Maybe they add that in the 4th game then. But yeah, if I remember correctly, Monty Hall was like a game show. I've never seen it. Yeah, it was a really old game show. It wasn't one of those game shows that was on the Game Show Network, which is a network that is on American TV that has, as you guessed it, game shows. 3 doors, and 2 of them have not good prizes, and one of them has the great prize. So, Treadmill Grill. This is the one that... Yeah, they've done a few of these after this one, I think. Yeah. This one I think is also in Superstars. Coming out soon. That game. Okay. Try to knock your rival off by moving playing field. If you hit a plane, you're out. Ground pound and attack. And move. Careful, the playing field gradually gets smaller as time passes. Yeah, the Monty Hall problem relates to probability. Like, if you get the wrong answer once, what's the probability of getting the right answer? And like you would think would be like 1/2, but it's still. How did I win? How in God's name did I win that? Why is my luck turning around right now? God dang. I believe the probability is still like 1/3 and not 1/2 because. I don't know, it's some sort of weird math thing. Nice, 64. I don't remember if that's correct though. Oh right! They go through a cannon! I forgot! It's really weird. Really weird and funny. Alright, let's do this. Okay.
Nicely done, everyone, and here are the results. First, let's look at the number of stars collected. You have collected this many stars.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Next, let's look at the final number of coins. You each ended the game with this many coins.
Each had the most actually, which is interesting.
Now, here are the bonus star results. Each winner will get 1 star. Let's begin with the minigame star. This award goes to the person who has won the most coins in the minigames.
That would be Wario. Yep. Oh my god, it's space. Wario gets any- Yep, okay, well, Wario wins.
Next is Coin Star. This award goes to the person who has the most coins at any one time during the game.
Oh! Wait, what? I didn't realize Luigi had like 102 coins, I think, that Wario had at one point.
Next is the Happening Star Award. This award goes to the player who landed on the most happening spaces.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember, Wario? Really? Got all of them, huh? Well, let's announce the winner. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And Peach? Nope, Waluigi next. Now Peach. And the winner is Wario.
Oh yeah, Wario is the winner.
For you, Wario. Oh, Wario. Oh, Wario, you big nerd. That's a cute way to show the results. Yeah, that sucks. Oh well. Why is the face like that for the stars? That's so weird. Yeah, gameplay. Didn't realize you got 102 at some point. I guess I wasn't looking. Probably was looking at my phone. Blue spaces, red spaces. Cheese and crackers, Wario! Land on the chance time space twice. You landed on battle space once. I landed on the battle space 3 times. Time space 4 times at the bank space. Oh, Peach landed on it twice, and Wario landed on it once at the beginning. No, wait. Peach landed on it once when there was nothing in the pot. Wario landed on it once, I guess, afterwards, and Peach landed on it again. Wasn't really paying attention though. In the game by spaces. I absolutely hate those. Well, certainly was a game. I think that's it. Guess I want to quit. What a game. Alright. Alright, we're done. We're done for tonight. Oh boy. That certainly was a game of Mario Party. That for sure was a game of Mario Party. One that I am not particularly fond of, I guess, but, you know, certainly was a game. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get everything set up with a new layout and everything. I'm gonna make it all nice and pretty. I'm probably gonna use some of the... I think I want to use the galaxy background still, for at least part of it. Because I really like this galaxy background. I like the starry galaxy backgrounds that I got. They're really good. But yeah, I'm gonna change like the ending screen, the starting screen. I'm gonna try to have like a just chatting screen and a new BRB screen and all that fun stuff. That's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Might take me a while, but it's gonna be great. But I'll at least get like at least get the things ready for playing on consoles and playing on my PC is important. Because those are the two things I play the most. Those are two things I do the most on stream. So, you know, for now, that's gonna be it. And I don't know if I'll be back on Tuesday. I probably won't get all the assets done by then. We'll see. I don't know. I might be done on might be done by Thursday. Who knows? But I will do a stream next week. I promise you, I will do a stream next week. That's the thing I'm doing. For now, that's gonna be it. Alright. Bye.